Water is one of Florida's most treasured natural resources, but with so many people moving to the state, some areas fear they won't have enough. Tonight, 10 Investigates Emerald Morrow is live in Zephyrhills, about 10 miles east of here. Emerald, that area is growing so fast, the city may take new steps to make sure there's plenty of water to go around.
Carolina, that is right. You know, this is a pretty ironic conversation happening about water in Zephyrhills because for so many years, this city has been known as the city of pure water, but they really have to get their arms around some of the development that is happening, that growth as well. So a city council person tells me they're going to be having some important conversations about two issues that would be increasing some of the impact fees here, as well as decreasing some of the density levels, and this is going to really help them get a hold of all of this growth and address some of those water concerns. It's everywhere around us, and we all need it to live. But as the Zephyrhills population goes up, the city fears the amount of available water will go down.
One of the main problems we have is we're reaching the limits of our water use permit that we get through the Southwest Florida Water Management District.
Swift Mud handles water permitting across our area, and right now Zephyrhills has a permit to pump 3.3 million gallons of groundwater a day. They're currently averaging about 2.8.
And a few times we had peaked up to about 3 million gallons a day. So we're right at the top of our limit.
That comes from more and more people choosing Zephyrhills as home, as cities like St. Pete and Tampa grow more and more expensive.
A lot of the new development was coming up faster than we had anticipated.
Councilman Steve Spina already proposed a development moratorium this year to help rein in water use. And now the city wants to reconsider its density levels for new development as well.
We permitted 14 units per acre, and we changed it a couple years ago to 20 units per acre. So we're looking on how to deal with that, maybe roll back to the 14 units and just kind of apply a smaller growth pattern.
A pattern to help curb the city's water worries as leaders wait on permit approval from the state.
When we issue a permit, we have to certify that it meets our conditions for issuance. So in the case of Zephyrhills, we needed some more information about some of the modeling and some of the growth projections.
Swift Mud also has to make sure drawing more groundwater won't cause adverse impacts to the environment.
You could draw too much water down to the point where it might cause water levels in wetlands or our MFLs to be lower than they should be for the health of that system. You could cause harm to an existing well by drawing the water level down to where it might not be functional.
A general concern for environmentalists like Bob Knight of the Florida Springs Institute.
There's over 1 billion gallons a day of groundwater pumping in the Tampa and Polk County area.
Knight says too much pumping can have negative impacts on the aquifer, Florida's freshwater springs, and their ecosystems.
We're all pulling from the same bucket of water, if you will. It's a giant bucket of water. It's got trillions of gallons in it, but it's not so big that we can't pollute it and deplete it. And that's what we're doing. We're pumping roughly in Florida almost 3 billion gallons a day of this groundwater that would have come out in springs is now coming out of wells.
Swift Mud says Crystal Springs near Zephyrhills is not in danger, and it wouldn't issue a permit that would cause problems. But as for the city and its growing pains, leaders are still working them through and also considering more impact fees on new development.
When you add new development, you have to add police department, you have to add parks, you have to improve roads. So those are the areas where we'll increase our impact fees so that the new people coming in will pay that to help us meet the needs that are a result of that.
Call it the price of popularity in one of the fastest growing states in the nation.
These are not a Zephyrhills issue, they're a Florida issue.
And Swift Mud says this is not unique. Zephyrhills is not the only city that is asking for more water. They get these kinds of requests all the time. And Swift Mud also wants to emphasize that, hey, we live in Florida. We've got water all around us. We're never going to run out of it, but we might run out of cheap water. So what do I mean by that? We may end up having to look at alternative sources of water, like water from the rivers, seawater, even reclaimed water. And that's an expensive process to clean that kind of water up. And of course, those costs get passed along to you. Reporting live in Zephyrhills, Emerald Morrow, 10 Investigates.
And you can see more of Emerald's reporting on the health of our springs and the city's application to pump more water in our story on the free 10 Tampa Bay app. Just look for the community connection.